Hello everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of the FlockTalk, where we flock and cock and talk, I guess.
About
if you're stunned, you're ready to get flocked. Or something else, I guess.
If you're damaged.
Yes, or that one. Okay, so now that we weeded out all the people who are not accepting of cringe and stuff, we can actually begin.
Yes. So tell us why FlockTalk? Why are we here? How did you come up with this name?
It was a great idea once I was just recording for YouTube, and I was like, flock and talk rhymes. So I'm just gonna make a YouTube series called FlockTalk, you know? And I think I made like one video on it where I was just rambling on. And my whole brand is like birds, so
birds.
It's great.
And cocks, which is funny because, you know,
exactly.
Birds.
Cocks are hilarious, that is true.
Very funny.
And we love them, yes. Exactly.
And it's funny because like flock just so happened to be a bird. So
actually true. Wait,
and
what?
And then
flock is a bunch of birds, not a bird.
Hello? Wait, no. Well, the card, okay? The card. There's a bird on the card flock.
Will they ever?
My memory isn't that bad. My memory isn't that bad.
It's a bird because it's. Never mind. Okay.
So
yes, another point which you actually brought up.
The first episode isn't to make me look stupid.
Okay.
We can't let them know yet. Okay.
Okay. You're not great at hiding that, so. Okay.
Oh, damaged. Okay.
Nice. Right to get flocked.
Okay, so it's also cool because like it also works on the level that like, you know, the meme where like all the people on Reddit want flock nerfed.
Only the bad ones. So well, yeah. So all the people on Reddit, yeah, exactly.
But if the Reddit people are here, we don't want to make fun of them, all right?
True. You guys are great. We love you.
Although they fall into the damaged category, so maybe.
Exactly. Perfect. You'll fit right in.
We'll fit right in, okay? Okay. But yeah, so like you used it for like your competitive videos, and it was cool. So like we thought about doing a podcast, and for those of you that don't know, we're very good friends.
Friends? Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, you can say that. And
we're friends for like a year now, right?
Yeah, very.
A little bit more, a little bit more than friends for a year.
A little bit more than friends, yeah. Okay. We have some videos together. We did the Leeson Eye of the Dragon cosplay video. We did another video together. I'm confused. Well, no, it feels like we did other videos because if you guys have seen some of his deck reviews and playthroughs, some of them are my decks. So
exactly, that's what they're. Those are actually the best videos. So no cap.
Yeah.
Those do the best. The numbers don't lie, okay?
I did the Scion. I made Scion Thresh, and what's it? You can do another one.
There's another one coming. Literally next.
Oh, there's another
week?
One. Yes, which we'll talk about later. Okay. So before we get into any of the topics today, because we are going to talk about things not just about ourselves, but since this is the first episode, we thought that maybe we would give you a couple of, you know, like personal intros, tell you guys a little bit about ourselves if you guys don't know who we are. And then after that, we're going to get into some topics that Boky can list out for you if you guys are interested to stick along for them, or if you just want to skip the intros and just get to that. So what are our topics for today?
Wait, can I list them?
Yes, okay, so I would hope so.
Well, give me 2 seconds. I wasn't ready for this, okay? Okay, so we have standard and rotation. We're gonna talk about how it affects the game as a whole comparatively to other card games, how it works and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, you have like a background in Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
And you have an MTG, so
yeah, you can call it that. And we're gonna go over the meta. Yes, we're gonna go over the current meta and how it was mostly shaped by standard and rotation, and then we're gonna do your favorite one. We're gonna do predictions for the open. It is in 2 days. If this is uploaded in time, it should be in 2 days, right?
Yeah. And we're filming this. Yeah, we're filming this 2 days before. Wait, there's no way we're uploading this the day before. Today's
no. We're uploading 2 days before because now it's 3 days before.
Oh.
This is Wednesday.
I'm not. I wasn't. You're way too ahead of the game. Okay.
I know. I'm very good at math, so.
You are, unironically. So that is what we're going to be covering today. So If you guys want to stick around for that, we're going to have actual topics and not just us talking about ourselves. But if you're interested in getting to know us better, we're going to get into some personal intros. So, first thing, I guess we'll ask Boky, give us your name, tell us a little bit about what you do, how you found lore, and some of your accomplishments. Give us
I got to go first?
Yes, you're the host of the show. You're here.
Am
This is
I?
your channel. Yes,
I'm on the left, that is true. My favorite side is the left one, so everything fits
left
perfectly.
3 large, guys. Whenever you're
Exactly.
in doubt of what to go.
Those are the words that perfectly describe me. I don't need anything else. Left 3 large.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask what the 3 is about, but
yeah, better don't.
better.
Okay, so my name is CockyBoky, which you should know if you're on my channel, presumably. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you're just confused and randomly clicked here. And I guess I'm a professional content creator. Content creator / streamer, I guess, for now. Trying to start some YouTubing. And a professional card gamer. Because by definition, you're a professional if you made any money in the game. And I made like $5, so easy clap.
So easy clap.
I think I'm allowed to give myself that title now. And the way I started playing lore, I had like 2 different occasions where I started interacting with lore. One was as soon as it was released, like during beta season, I think. And
because you said you were playing Hearthstone before, right?
Yes, I played Hearthstone and Magic before. And I don't know what I was playing at that point, but I played a lot of League of Legends for like 10 plus years. And
the mentally stable game, you know?
Not proud of that one, okay? There's some things that we don't talk about there. And the thing is, because I like card games and I like League of Legends, obviously I'm gonna try the game. So I tried some expeditions because it didn't have cards and stuff. And the game felt fun, but it felt like I mean, it felt like a beta game, right? And it didn't really catch my attention because you couldn't like play a lot of the what are they called, expeditions for rewards. It was like only 1 or 2 per week. I don't remember. So I just dropped it after like 2 days, basically. And then I started streaming like I think a year after or something. And my friend was like,
"But you didn't keep playing. Like you played the beta and then you
yes, I literally stopped and I didn't touch it for like a year. And after like a year or so, I started streaming. And I was streaming some other games and stuff. And one of my friends was like, "Yo, have you heard of Legends of Runeterra?" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And
already
I checked it.
Deleted.
I checked it, and I remembered. Wait, I tried this game. Wait, I like card games. Still, imagine that, right? And then I started playing it on stream and stuff, and just got super into it. It was one of those games where, because I usually wouldn't play games, and I think you're similar. We just like play games for a bit, and then you just forget the game exists.
Yeah, you like just get move on. Super addicted.
Exactly.
Everything, and then one day you wake up and you're like, "What's this new game?"
Yes. And you literally forget, and like a week down, you remember. Wait, I literally never touched this game for like a week.
Or goal oriented too. Like you accomplish a goal, and then you're like, "Well, there's nothing left for me to do here." And then
exactly.
Who cares? So, and you said you started playing around like what was it, the Ascendant?
I think it was
Shurima.
I think Shurima was coming out, the second part of Shurima or something. Maybe the first part of Shurima, where like Azir and stuff like that came out. I think that was the first part of Shurima, and like Azir, Talia, Siri, all those good champions that everybody likes, right? And yeah, I played literally just expeditions for like a couple of weeks. Got all the cards. I was a famous expedition streamer, one of the like 3 of us at that point. Whoa. And then I transitioned into Constructed.
Do you remember the other 2? Do you remember who the other 2 were?
Yes.
Okay. Drop those names. Drop them.
I don't remember the names. I remember.
Nice. Okay, never mind.
I remember their content and stuff. I don't remember the names.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
We're trying to shout them out, you know?
Very nice. Trying to.
Okay.
I don't think they stream anymore. I haven't seen them in a while, so they probably stopped playing. And basically, yeah, I then transitioned into Constructed. And yeah, playing Constructed ever since. Especially now when they removed the Expeditions, so what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, no, that is a shame. I like love Expeditions. It's such an easy way, like when I was starting playing, like to get all the new cards and everything. But talking more about how you now play Constructed, tell us about your accomplishments. I know you've like topped quite a bit. You were playing in the qualifiers for Worlds, so
I topped like 4 seasonals, I believe. 3 seasonals? 4? 5? I don't know. And X amount of seasonals, that is between 3 and 5, I believe. I think it's 3. So
Just say 5.
Yeah, easy 5. Yeah, I
yeah,
topped 5 seasonal or maybe more potentially, you know? And I think all of them were with Ash LeBlanc, which is the deck I'm basically famous for. Everybody knows me for
Were
playing
they all
just...
with Ash LeBlanc? There's no way.
Weren't they?
The one you topped Ash LeBlanc was the one that you were playing Draven, Scion Draven, and then Croc Shiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm also famous for using her decks to top cut cheat methods, you know, when you have a
people shy.
when you have a specialized deck builder who just cracks the meta every season, it's pretty easy. Yes.
Pain.
That meme when you have a rag and you just wipe your sweat.
Like, I love that emote, the Diana emote in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah, Diana has that one. I was talking about the actual meme, but yeah, I forgot.
No,
like,
I know what you meant,
memes.
and then I thought of the Diana one, and I'm like, oh, that emote is so
exactly. And then I played the qualifiers for Worlds, the second Worlds, not the first one, and I got slabbed by
Baya. With Ash LeBlanc too, I think.
Yes, I got slabbed by Baya. I almost made it to the top card Worlds, and Baya slapped me, and never lucky.
Yeah. But only because he's lucky, right?
Like, yeah, obviously. Yeah. I would never get outskilled. I don't think it ever happened, and I think it will ever happen because I'm literally skill capped.
That one doesn't count. You just were undefeated.
Exactly, literally.
Okay? We don't count those. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They just had to keep me from the tournament from being too good.
Okay.
It is your turn, I believe.
Yes. No. Well, we could just skip this one. Okay.
No, we would like to hear more. No, we would like to hear more about you. Okay.
The cock talks, you know.
Yes. So we would like for you to talk. I rambled enough. I don't like talking about myself, so go on.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you do? Accomplishments?
I am Nips, and I'm a freelance artist. I draw digital. I do digital work. I work for Team Liquid. We're here, Team Liquid, and I have my own comic.
Sorry, why does your chair have googly eyes?
Isn't it so cute? It looks pretty derpy. It's
adorable. It is hilarious.
No, nothing is complete without a set of googly eyes, okay?
That's why I'm not complete. But you complete me, it's fine.
You know?
You complete me because you have googly eyes.
Oh no!
Dies of cringe.
You're gonna dies of cringe, dies of love. Oh yeah. People sit. Yeah, and so I basically just draw, and I have always loved card games. I started a lot of my social media journey exposure online as a Vayu enthusiast. Those of you that have ever even heard that name, that name is like 15 years old or something.
What is a Vayu?
Yu-Gi-Oh. Vayu is a card in Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's from an archetype. Which wait, no way. The overlap. It's meant to be, okay? Vayu is a card in an archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh called Black Wings, which are all birds.
Nice. Great. See, I think it's meant to be.
We're honestly meant to be. The realization that we're having right now, it couldn't be more perfect.
Everything makes sense.
Yeah, and the deck, usually you just make a deck with like Black Wings and you build all these like birds or whatever. But there's this one specific bird, a Vayu, which basically just centers around the grave, and you do like a lot of cheeky shit with it, like in the grave. And so there were people who basically would build a deck around just Vayu and not play any of the other Black Wings. And so one of those decks was just called Vayu Turbo, which you basically just spam the card and you abuse the fact that you can like use it multiple times. And so that deck kind of became my favorite, and then the card became my favorite, and then I started like basically playing every deck that I could with that card. So if there was like a meta deck, like imagine just like, oh, like I want to play like Ash LeBlanc, but like I really, really like Draven. So you would just put Draven into Ash LeBlanc. Like that's what I would do. I would just find a way to stick this card into every meta deck or every deck possible.
You kind of do that with lore anyways, so we'll go on to our favorite champions. We'll discover which one it is.
You have a first-hand experience torture of having to play my decks, so with like 8 champions. So.
I wouldn't say having to. I would say get to, but
this is it right here, guys. The perfect match, you know. But yeah, so I basically did that, and one of the things that like I've always liked in card games is like deck building, and then wanting to make these like fun non-meta decks. and then play them competitively and then want them to do good. But the issue with that is that like you have to be really good and then you have to like take the time to like make the decks, which fucking takes forever because you have to put your time into like 2 different categories like a lot. And like
that's fair.
at the time I was like in college and studying to go to medical school. It takes a lot of time. And so I just kind of rendered the goal like just moot. I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna keep playing card games. I did Yu-Gi-Oh! I played a little bit of Magic, and then I basically got addicted to Hearthstone. I played Hearthstone since like it came out. And eventually I started playing lore because I saw it in the beta as well. And that's when like Callista Endure was a thing.
Okay.
And I was so addicted to Hearthstone
Alright, I just
that
have
I
a quick
downloaded.
question. What
Okay,
is a
okay.
Callista?
Oh no. Okay, I think this talk is over. No.
Nice.
You guys, so
Got him.
Callista's my favorite champion in lore. So he's already starting to troll me, and I think we're already gonna have some conflicts on this podcast, okay?
Nice.
But yeah, no, I was so addicted to Hearthstone that I just, and I think you told me this too, right? That like you didn't like the animations of the cards, like the
Yeah,
way that
after coming from Hearthstone, the visual just like looked weird. Imagine going to combat and the art just becomes wider. I was like,
yeah,
this is so ugly. What is happening?
and the
Like Hearthstone is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way, like the speed of like how everything
Yeah,
hit
exactly.
was so annoying.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
And now it's the opposite, right?
And now it's the opposite. Like you go
Like
to
lore is the most
Hearthstone.
beautiful thing, yeah.
Yeah. And you go to Hearthstone and Hearthstone looks like a Facebook game. I'm like, what am
Yeah,
I
like
doing
what is
here?
happening?
Like, what is this?
Like why is Hearthstone so ugly? I remember it being so pretty. Like what is happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, you just
Yeah.
get used to.
And for that reason I just uninstalled it. And then I remember I came back like, I don't know, months later. I don't know when the meta started, but it was Soraka Kench. And I downloaded it and I got in and I was like, let me see what the meta is. Soraka Kench. Literally, I lasted a day and a half where I was like, I can't play this shit, bro. What is this? I can't tolerate this. And I uninstalled it immediately. I was like,
Understandable.
yeah. I was like, you auto do what? I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
And then I
just
downloaded
sploosh some
it
water
again.
in your units.
Yeah, sploosh all the waters, do nothing, sit there, get wet, and win.
Nice.
Isn't
it's
that
it's my favorite, yeah.
Get wet and win.
Getting wet and winning is my favorite.
That's what we do here. All the damaged and stunned people get wet and win. Okay, you heard it here. Yeah, and then I re-downloaded it during the Bandlewood, Beyond the Bandlewood, when Kennen, Ari, and everything else came out. What was it? Rumble, I think also. Pantheon?
Poppy Zed.
Pantheon also. Poppy,
right?
Poppy, yeah.
Pantheon.
I started playing it right before because I was playing Zed Poppy and Plunder. Sejuani Gangplank, yeah.
Actually, I'm out of here. I don't talk to Plunder players.
Yeah, well, I guess we're stuck now. We're stuck.
Yeah.
You hate Callista. I played Plunder.
I don't hate. Why would I hate something that doesn't exist? Doesn't make any sense.
All right. Well, okay. You know what doesn't exist? 3/3 Draven.
Okay, well, you didn't have to go there.
He also doesn't exist because he got rotated. Nice. All right. Enjoy that.
I deserve that. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and so I played Ari Kennen when it came out. And I think it's like one of my favorite like meta decks. It was really fun. It was way too powerful for its own good, but it was a very fun deck.
It was a high skill cap deck. Yeah. Which is what you enjoy. Like,
yeah. I like those. I like
expressing your skill all over people.
Oh yeah. I do a lot of expressing, yes. Yeah. And I think it's just fun, like when you have a lot of options. I think when decks are really linear, it kind of
that's fair.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. And so I
Which
started
is why
getting
we
into the
why we like Demacia, right?
It's sad that like you kind of made me like Demacia because Demacia as a splash region is nice.
It's no, like you like Demacia because it's large. Come on.
I do. What do you mean?
3 large left. Yep. Everything makes sense.
True. Large boys. Any large boys in chat? Yeah, and so like I started watching like Max, got the tracks, Ikato, and all these like Alan. I started watching a lot of lore streamers, and I'm an artist, so I don't really like stream lore or anything. But I streamed it a couple times. I started to get to know everybody, and basically that's how we met. You and I met at a charity event
Yes.
for what was it called? It was like a gaming charity event
Yeah, and it
where
was
we
like
had to like
February last
coll-
year, right?
yeah, February for me.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is a Nibs? I've never seen it. I knew everyone else in the community because I was like involved in it. I was like, who the fuck is this person?
Yeah.
And you were like,
And
so fun.
yeah, I only knew like certain people because I was like, oh, I've seen their stream before, but I didn't really like know what was going on. I was like, I just like to play the game, and I was there because I like posted about it, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice. And I remember that we met because like I was like trying to like find out whatever like when the tournament started or something. And I guess somebody like misunderstood that like they thought like I just didn't know how to like share a deck code or something.
Nice.
They were
Nice.
like, by the way, if you don't know how to share a deck code, you could just press the little button like next to the thing.
Just press a little button, yeah? Just
Press
straight
the
right
button.
there. What,
And
like,
mind you,
can't you read?
yeah, can't you read? Like, just share forehead. And mind you, at this point, like this person like knew that I had hit masters like several times. Like it wasn't just some random person they were inviting. Like I had shared like how I had hit masters several times. Like I'd played other card games before and everything. And so it just felt I was like, really? Like you don't think I know how to share a deck code? And then what did you do?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Nibs, did you know that you need to gather Nexus to 0 HP to win the game? And then the person was like, that's not how I meant it.
Monka Giga. Yeah, and after that I was like, I like this one. I like this one.
Nice.
And
And you
so
started
I
stalking
really
me.
yeah, well, you don't have to call it that.
Okay,
You don't
you
have to go
started hanging out
this
in chat a lot and being a part of this amazing community, right?
yes, all the gobblers, yes.
All the
So you
gobblers,
guys
yeah.
on this channel and on Twitch and everybody, all the
Exactly.
cute gobblers, yeah. And yeah, to this day when I put TW on my search bar, his stream is like the first thing that popped. Not
Not
Twitter,
even
not
Twitter.
anything else.
I
Nothing
use
else.
Twitter a
Just
lot.
I use Twitter a lot. I guess you would only know how powerful that is if you knew how much I use Twitter. So yeah. So I guess that is a little bit about us. Just a quick trivia. Let's do a quick back and forth
Boom,
trivia
boom,
so
boom.
we
Okay.
can okay, so we can
Okay,
kind of I'll
you
ask
have to go
you and then
first
you
this
ask
time.
me.
No, you have to go first this time.
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay,
You
okay.
ask me the questions. Then. You ask me the
Okay.
questions. Okay.
Wait, what questions are we asking?
We'll do them quick, okay? The questions, the mini trivia. We've got our
The,
notes. Hello? Are you
oh,
prepared?
the notes. Yeah,
The
okay, okay.
notes. Yes.
What is your
Yes, yes,
favorite
yes.
champion?
Callista.
Easy clap. What is your favorite deck?
Kindred Viego.
Why is it not the deck with Callista? Fake fan?
Who is hello?
Fake fan?
Hello? I like Callista Endure, okay? But it's Kindred Viego is just it's so good.
Okay.
Don't call me out like that. Don't call me out like that. You're
Okay.
not supposed to point out inconsistencies. That's not how this works.
Favorite region has to be consistent with the other two, right?
Yes, Shadow Isles.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite era?
Any era that Kindred Viego was
Neolithic era.
The what?
The Neolithic era. Postmodern.
What era of lore was that?
The one where people with rocks hit other people with rocks in the head, you know? I like that one.
Nice. That's the Chip Malphite era, you know?
Exactly.
I don't know. Ari Kennen. Ari Kennen is fun. I like that one.
Arcane is a deck.
Yeah, whatever era that was.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Favorite archetype?
So I thought I liked Control until I met you, and then you taught me more about archetypes.
And then you learned what Control
and then
was.
I learned what Control was, and I was like, this is miserable. And so yeah, I basically learned that I like more mid-rangey stuff, I guess is what you would call it, right? Which if you don't know, guys, Boky is like a master at archetypes and stuff. He has like a
I know
video that
everything about it.
everything. You can ask him anything. He can categorize every single deck for you, put it on the spectrum, explain it, the details, the variants. He's got everything. So he's
Yes.
working on a video about that, which is really cool. Like he explains how all the archetypes
Yeah.
work and like so
We're gonna enter
one day.
the month number 3 on the production of that video.
Hello, stop.
It's coming soon.
Yes.
It's coming.
Soon TM.
Exactly. Okay. And do you like more spell-based or unit-based mid-range?
I think like
Swain kind of stuff, or like Demacia,
probably,
like elites kind of stuff?
I like units. Depending on the spells. Like I like SI. Usually I use spells for protection. Like my splash region is always protection, so it's just why I like Kindred Viego, like the Ionia, Targon, even Demacia sometimes because of like the sharp sight. Rest in peace. Rip Bozo.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got the new sharp sight, so.
Yeah. Form up. So it's great. Yeah.
Your favorite emote?
The sweating Ezreal. Easy.
The sweating
and
Ezreal.
The poppy. Yes, that one I don't own, but I like that one a lot. The surprise that.
Exactly.
All right. Are you ready? Ready for your mini trivia?
Yes. Already. I written down my answers, so I'm ready.
You cheated. You're supposed to just on the fly, you know.
On the fly.
Favorite champion?
Draven.
Easy clap. The 3-2 Draven, right?
I don't know if he can still be my favorite champion because he's rotated. We're gonna talk about it later, but
yeah.
Sag.
So your favorite non-rotating champion?
Favorite non-rotated champion?
That's easy.
Samir.
Didn't you say? Yeah,
Samir.
There you
Samir is the new Draven. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't prepare that answer, so I forgot. Okay.
See, there you go. That's what I mean. It's got to be on the fly. You know, that's when your true answers come out. Okay.
I'm part of the flock, but they can't fly. You know, like a chicken, like a true cock.
Is that false?
They can't fly. They can only glide. They can jump high and then glide down.
Glide.
Pro tip about birds. There you go.
Nice.
That's how I play lore as well. I skyrocket in LP and then I glide down slowly.
People glide down.
Exactly.
Okay. Favorite deck?
Favorite deck? Ashe LeBlanc.
That was easy. That one, if you didn't say that, honestly, who are you?
Honestly, yeah. Doesn't have Draven or Samira, but I tried to fit him in. Doesn't work.
I was literally about. Wait a minute.
Doesn't count, okay?
Not what you told me earlier.
Okay.
Favorite region?
Nox. This one is consistent, same as yours.
That one is, yes, true. Favorite era? Not the Paleolithic.
Not the Neolithic era.
Neolithic.
Okay. Please, guys, don't leave the YouTube video right now.
Oh, no.
It's the Azraelia meta. Not because of Azraelia, I hated the deck, but everything else around it, the decks around it, maybe it's a lot of it to do with my mental state at that point and how I felt about the game in general. But I think Azraelia meta.
Okay.
And like TLC
what other
decks?
Meta. I didn't play during that meta. What were the other decks?
Like TLC was another top deck. Ashe. That's the first tournament I top cut with Ashe LeBlanc. I think Tash Nasus and TLC. I believe that was the lineup. Tash Nasus was.
Oh yeah, I remember that because you said you liked TLC. You played a lot of TLC mirrors apparently.
That's one of the small amount of control decks that I like.
Okay. Favorite archetype?
Unit based midrange. So like Ashe LeBlanc or Sivir Action. Those are my two favorite decks.
Very fair. We have a fair boy on our hands. Okay.
Rip Sivir.
Dude.
You only remember?
All your babies got rotated. I feel. Maybe you should start rotating. Favorite emote? Hello?
I'm too close to the table to rotate. That's spinning. Isn't spinning a part of rotation? I don't know how rotating is defined.
You're horizontally rotating? Question mark? Wait, no. Never mind. Okay.
Never mind.
Moving on.
Move on. Favorite emote? Poppy, because it looks like you.
Oh, yeah. If I take these off, then it's over, right? It's over for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Never speaking to you again.
Nice. Thank you. Is that how deep is your love?
Exactly.
Oh,
very surface level.
Okay. Speaking of rotation, we're moving on to finally starting on the topics. Next topic is standard and rotation. And it's been obviously a hot topic. Like, this is the first time. How long has lore been out? Like 2 years almost?
Like 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that. I don't know.
And usually, like, Time glides when you're having fun.
Does it?
It glides here on this channel. Time glides.
Nice. Nice.
Okay. Here's a hello. We're a team here. We're a flock.
True. We're flocking together. What's your best chicken impression?
For me, a flock is a crow. Okay, it's a crow, not a chicken. Okay.
Okay, but a group of chicken is still called a flock.
Wait, is it?
Yes, all birds are grouped into flocks.
No, I thought a flock was a. Oh no, a murder. A crow. A group of crows is a murder.
Wait, actually, I think lore is a lie.
Wait a minute.
Are we pro murder here?
Monk. We don't do that. We don't do that here.
We don't do that. Not even in games. True.
Not even.
We're just
not even in Minecraft. Okay.
True. We're talking about the magic card. There's actually a magic called murder. It's actually hilarious.
Yeah. There's also one called Poison the Cup. So
very creative.
You know how that goes. Yeah. Yeah. So we both come from like different games, similar games and stuff, and rotation is always like a hot topic based on how it's done. In Yu-Gi-Oh, we had things like ban lists. So instead of things getting rotated, you would just have a ban list updated, basically like, oh, you can't play this card at all. You can only play this card as a 2 of, as a 1 of, etc. And that's kind of how it's handled in Yu-Gi-Oh. I haven't played in a long time.
Is that another format, or is that the only format which has the ban list?
From what I remember, because I haven't played in like fucking 10 plus years, but from what I remember, there was just one format. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only formats that changed was that by region. So we had like I think it was like the format in Asia and the format in America was different. So they had different ban lists because I think the cards came out there first. I don't remember, but we had different ban lists, so the meta was like different. Like we couldn't. Yeah, I think it was called the OCG and the TCG or something, and we had like different. Yeah. So that's how it was handled there. And I mean, I've heard horror stories about how Yu-Gi-Oh is going now because of like how there's so many cards and the
turn one kills and stuff. Very funny.
Nice. How is it? How is it in Magic? I know we've been playing a lot of Magic recently, but you have more experience on that.
There's a lot of formats in Magic, but rotation is only present in one. There's a ban list in the other ones, most of them. I mean, there's a ban list in Standard as well, but it's, I believe, the last 2 years or so, there's a set amount of sets that they keep in. Kind of, I think Hearthstone does it the same. It's like 2 years-ish. So they have a set amount of sets per year, and then they just rotate cards out when new cards come in. So basically, I think lore is kind of doing the same thing, right? There's a
and I think Hearthstone does the same thing with like Standard and Wild. Which is basically, I think 2 years, like the last 2 years of sets is what you can use.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think, I mean, Laura was way too young to even like consider like rotating cards out. I'm kind of sad because I know a lot of us like talked about this, how like it's weird because the way that lore works is that everything is centered around like the champions. And so like if you're coming from League or if you're coming from any like Riot game and you have like, oh, this one favorite champion and you come to play it in lore and then you find out that it's rotated, right? You wouldn't think that they would rotate out champions because it's like the center.
Exactly.
Of, like,
without putting like another version of the champion in Standard.
Yeah, exactly. Which is one of the things like you suggested, and I think a lot of other people also said, like basically because I know Magic does that, right? You print a new set, you cycle out the old one, and then you reprint the card, so that way.
Yeah, and there's like a Gideon, and then there's like 7 different Gideons, which is like a planeswalker there. So we would have the Draven, and then Draven the Cooler.
Draven the Cooler.
An even larger Draven, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Which is funny, now that I think about it, I think TFT does that. Because you have never played TFT, I think.
I have. They do like skins for champions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I just thought about now, but I think they do that. Like they'll rotate the set. Like for example, like Ezreal gets rotated, and I think my friend said like she showed me, she was playing. She's like, look, they have a new Ezreal. It's like a legendary one, and it's like totally different, and it's like based on skins. I think like they do it by the skins, like you said and stuff. But I never understood that concept until like I started playing Magic recently, because I know like I was like, I thought this was Jace, and you're like, no, that's Jace the Mind Sculptor. And then it's like Jace, and then this Jace, and then this Liliana, and that Liliana. I was like, wait, they're all different?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck is going on? There's too many things happening.
Exactly.
So yeah, we all, before the cards got rotated and announced like how many would be rotated, I know a couple people did like polls on Twitter for like how many cards would get rotated, and I think we both thought like it was like what, like gonna be like 100 or something.
Yeah, like a small amount.
Yeah. Give
because
us the
that
number.
was correct. Yeah.
Give us the
466 cards rotated. I don't even know how many cards there are in the game, and I don't know if I counted this properly because I didn't find any source.
3,000, I think, right? It's like 3,000 something.
Yeah,
like if you go
so like
into...
a sixth of the cards basically rotated, which is a huge amount.
That is, yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
And when you look at like, I think we counted the champions were like at around 40, I think, or 60. How many champions?
Something like that, yeah.
40 to 60, something around there.
Yeah.
And if you go, I think it was like four champions?
It's 3 to 4 champions per region.
3 to 4 champions per region. Wait, that wouldn't make sense then, because they rotated. There's 10 regions. So then
so it would be like 30-ish champions, yeah.
So 30th. Okay.
30-ish, right? 3 times 10 regions.
Math.
Let's say.
This is we're definitely
very quick.
You're the math.
30 to 40,
you're the math
exactly.
person. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think like when we all saw the list of like the things getting rotated, we were kind of scared, especially with like what they were rotating.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of people were like super hyped by it. I was mostly on like the scared side. I felt it was too much, and the game is gonna be very monotonous and not enough variety and stuff because the card pool is so small. Which is
and what did you think about like the cards they were rotating? Because I know they basically just rotated all the cards that we use, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's a weird way to like force the meta to change because a lot of cards were rotated just because they were used a lot, which I'm not sure I like. Like I don't know, Bandle City Lost Pokestick, like that, like core cards that are like Vile Feast from SI, right? But on the plus side, I felt like they solidified or like made more clear what the region identities are. Which is
a
kind
good
of good
segue, right?
Because exactly. Yeah, it's a good point, a good way to do that because you really couldn't, because they evolved over time and they were like all over the place, like PNZ having AOE and stuff, which is kind of weird now, but sure.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's something that we were talking about like before we like filmed the podcast, but you suggested like how as far as like region identity goes, how something like Noxus control, which was like a prevalent like. Not archetype. What do we call it? Like a type of deck, like Noxus control, like the efficient removal.
It would be kind of an archetype, even though like those Noxus control decks weren't actually control. Like Tri-Beam or Swain decks were never control. The control is like a very very small subsection of decks, specifically in lore. Because
what would you call that then? Like tempo? I don't even know.
Yeah, Tri-Beam was definitely tempo, and Swain was mid range, like spell based mid range, like somewhere along the lines between control and aggro. Along those lines, like fair interactive stuff. And because of a lot of interaction in those decks, people think it's control, but by the let's not get too into it, but just by the gameplay and how they finish out games, it's not a control deck by definition.
Okay. And some of the cards, I actually should pull up the list of the cards they rotated, because you were talking about basically like the cards that they rotated. Now it's like pretty much like you can't have like a they got Blade's Edge. Because Katarina got cycled and stuff, so like
they rotated
a lot of things.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
This thing.
Flock, they rotated.
We rotated, guys. It's over.
Our whole podcast got rotated.
I think we need to rebrand.
We need to episode 1.
It's fine. Just draw second Swain. You know, we're still here.
Easy clap, Swain.
It's even cooler now because when you see it, you're like, oh. Or you can play a friendly match, which is what I did with Roji yesterday.
Oh
and
no,
random generators generate cards. They're not in standard, but from Eternal, like Burblefish generated the Flock for me, and he was like, "What? That's cheating.
Not allowed." Yeah, which is weird because like you guys were like trying to scrim, and it's like you're obviously scrimming in a format, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
Friendly scrims, Eternal, everything is allowed.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I mean, you talked about like the PNZ having like AOE. It just feels like there's a lot of region identity like mix and matching kind of happening now, and it's
like for example how ping regions, right? Like SI was a decent ping region, Noxus was a good ping region, and now it feels like PNZ is the only one. Vandal City and Bilgewater are like fine-ish, but like PNZ is the go-to region for that sort of thing, which is why we're seeing like a prevalence of like PNZ decks, because the other ones that were like used in that regard were like butchered.
Do you feel like now that we've been in the meta for a little bit, do you feel like the rotation, like you have enough cards to play stuff?
I don't think so. I don't like that. I feel like if you want to play that sort of strategy, you should have like a couple of regions to play with, and I feel like the pool is too small.
Like you can make, like, I feel like I've been seeing like a lot of flexibility in decks.
Like I don't know. I'm usually on the pessimistic side, so I'm like,
I
want more smash.
I'm the good cop, you're the bad cop. Okay.
Exactly.
We got a balance here.
Very nice.
Okay. So I guess with that, then maybe we can move into the next section, which is
we've been rambling for 40 minutes, so we should get into the meta part.
Hello. Okay, let's talk about the meta. Let's get into the meta talk then. Now that we've kind of broken down the rotation a bit. So start us off. What are we gonna talk about? What everybody's talking about?
The basis of the meta right now, the best champion in the game, the most fun champion in the game, Fizz.
Hello?
Samira.
Okay, so this podcast is actually over.
Actually over. Too much trolling going on. Samira has multiple, I would say tier 0. Are they tier 0? I would say tier 0 decks. I would definitely say that Samira Fizz and Samira Leon are like,
I honestly don't even know what counts. I don't even know what counts as
tier 0
deck. What do you think?
I would define tier 0 as the deck is so strong just based on power level and not archetypes that it can basically beat its counters that should be beating it, right? So if you have like a combo deck that is tier 0, it should get slapped by consistent pressure and stuff from aggro, but if it's consistently beating aggro as well, then you're just too OP, right? Because combo should be slapping control, but it should be losing to aggro. So if it can just beat everything, aka not having bad matchups in reality, then the deck is just too good for its own good.
Because that's kind of like, I mean, the only 2 tier 0 decks that I can think of off the top of my head, because I'm usually not thinking about that, is the Nami Lee and Ari Kennen.
Yeah, Nami has like 6 tier 0 decks. I would say all Nami decks, like the Zoe one, the green one, the green TF one. Yeah, exactly. And then the Lee one was the strongest one, I believe. All 3 of those, I think, were tier 0. And then you had like TF Fizz back in the day, like TLC was potentially tier 0.
Like, would you consider Kai'Sa tier 0? Kai'Sa was not tier 0.
I would consider Kai'Sa like somewhere on the edge. Probably not. Like, even though there's people who think Kai'Sa is the strongest deck ever. Well, but the problem is when you look at Fizz Samira matchup tables, people have been trying to counter it for a while because it has been the deck from the beginning. So for like 3 weeks now, matchups are still blue across the board. Like there's literally no bad matchups.
Let's see.
It has like 2 bad matchups or something, and it's like random trash decks, like deep or something. Like nobody plays that. I don't think it's deep specifically, but something like that.
Oh yeah, it is pretty blue. The only thing that it's half 50-50 into 49 is Jack Seraphine. There's Annie Caitlyn and Samira Varus.
Yeah, because you can't dodge those traps. So.
You can't what?
Yeah, you can't dodge traps from Caitlyn, so
you can't.
Everything else you can play around, but stuff like that, like you're literally can't. So.
Wow, wait, no, you're right. Wait, it's 38% into Caitlyn Jace.
Yeah.
And Jack Nami. Wait, there's a Jack Nami deck. Was not even aware of that.
Yeah. And then you just move into other Samira versions, right? You just play another Samira version and you're chilling. You're just beating those then.
Chilling, yeah. But I wonder, because you were talking about how like that deck has a high skill cap, and the fact that it has these stats with that
for an average player,
for an average, you think it's kind of like the Nami Lee then? Do you feel like these stats would be even more polarized if it was like
these stats are reflective of an average player, and an average player is, let's not use bad language.
We are for the damaged people, okay?
Exactly. Our people are not very good at this game, okay? So if an actually good player gets their hands on one of those decks that has presumably good stats in an average person's hands, you're gonna have a hard time losing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, she's incredible, and you talked about how like I think I heard you say that you think like she's one of the best, if not the best designed champ, that you really
Yeah,
like
I
her.
love Samira's design. So my favorite type of champion is like Samira or Riven or Draven, Akshan, like champions which you can choose how much resources you put in the champion. All those champions you can use cards or mana or stuff to put resources in the champion, and the champion will output an equivalent response to you. So you can, it's like you get to manage your risk reward, right? I can throw all my stuff in to try
like
to level her and get a rally,
survival
right?
skills on Draven, everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So I choose how much to commit, which is basically what I love about card games.
Yeah.
And the versatility is
literally that's what I was gonna say. Like they can do so much. Like they're so, and I feel like those champions are super flexible. Like they're so, because we talked about how like we don't really like champions that you have they're built around like you have to play them, like lurk champions, deep champions.
Great design. I'm so glad Soraka and fucking Tom Kench rotated. I despise champions like that.
Yeah, I can't say much for Kench because Kench is like a meme champion for me. Like I like building decks around.
You can play Tom Kench Soraka and lose, or you can just lose. So
we don't lose on this podcast, okay?
True.
Only winners here, okay?
Exactly.
Winning is for losers.
True.
But yeah, so Samira is great. We had the Samira Fizz. We also not just have like other versions of Samira, but we have other versions of Samira Fizz, right? We have like the Samira Fizz with monkeys, which I don't know if you've played that one, like the plunder.
I haven't tried it. Yeah, I heard some people like say that version is better. I've only played like the old one. I've been trying other decks nowadays, but I climbed basically day 1 to Masters.
He did a 24-hour stream.
Easy clap.
Second person to Masters.
Yeah, I hit it by half an hour because it was disconnecting and the servers were taking a dump in the beginning, so I was like climbing on NA, almost hit diamond on NA, and then I switched to you. And
you guys were farming each other because the person who went number 1 was Gora, and you guys were like playing each other the entire time.
Yeah.
And unfortunate, but
I won every time. Except half of the time.
Nice. So he got rank 1 first, but he got Masters first, but you beat him every time. So technically.
True. Technically I'm the best player, so technically best player ever.
But I'm looking at some of because we have the Mastering Runeterra tournament happened recently, and I was trying to see if there's anybody that played the monkey version, because when was the last time that I know there was like a monkey deck or whatever that was kind of in a frenzy?
Oh yeah, when people played triple monkey lineup. Oh yeah.
Yeah, when the triple monkey lineup. Oh my lord.
I hated that.
I'm wondering if this is the same thing. People are just kind of going through a phase because the plunder monkeys are overwhelming. Like they just come out and you're like, well, I'm dead. And with the what is it, the burst, the focus speed spell that does 1 damage face, and then you have Samira's
stylish shot or something like that.
Stylish shot, yeah. Stylish
Samira
shot.
is stylish, so
she really is. So stylish shot, and then the warning shots and all of this. It's so easy to proc plunder.
Yeah.
That it's So I can see why that one works. And then you have there's Samira Fizz, those 2 versions, and then you have
Samira Leone is
Samira Leone.
Arguably better than that one because it shores up a lot of. Yeah, it's like a more mid-range. It applies like a lot more pressure consistently because you're just playing a bunch of chunky units. Which is like the Leone package was kind of cracked ever since it came out, right?
Yeah. And when people found the Leona Katarina deck, which is basically Samira is just replacing Katarina. It looks very similar.
Exactly. I think that deck used to play Decimates and stuff, which are also rotated, so it's like less burn heavy now. Now it's like actually more fair. You're like playing mites and stuff. You're pushing damage through units. So
yeah. So there's and the Samira Varus too.
Samira Varus, which I think let's not do that, but I like that one the most, I think. Because it's like more combo-y. Either that or the Fizz one. I don't like the Leona one, is like way too bland. But this one is
that's what Daybreak always was, right? Just playing units on curve and stuff. So.
Yeah. Varus is also like a champion, not he himself, but like Varus decks are usually the type of thing that I like Riven, where you can just like put a bunch of resources and commit as much as you want / can.
I feel like Riven and Varus is like a good comparison to each other. because they're
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah.
mid-rangey, but like combo-y. If you
Exactly.
like,
I think their packages are
decide to.
comparable, but the
Yeah.
champions themselves, obviously, like Varus doesn't do anything
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's some people which I tried to build this. I haven't been playing like that much, but this was something that I wanted to try, the Samira Riven. I know some people were playing Samira Riven either in Ionia and stuff like that, which seems kind of fun. So I might go back and try to build that. So
Okay.
and then we have people trying to counter that, which is the PNZ era. We're in a
Yeah.
PNZ
What is the
karma
card
era.
called? The AoE? The
Oh, the caustic riff.
Caustic. I was gonna say sluggish.
It's
Caustic Riff.
sluggish riff.
Sluggish Riff.
Yeah,
Toxic Riff. That one.
riff. You know.
Yeah. Literally,
Yeah.
the card is defining the meta on its own because
Yeah, it's
Fizz is a fun card and there's a bunch of small shitters in that deck which you like just wanna eat.
That
There's no
I
whale and
have
stuff,
no
so-
idea. What like sure, like what was the one, the 5-mana slow that they gave PNZ the AoE?
Yeah. The
Like a
rocket,
while ago
whatever.
when they when they gave that, people were like, why are we giving PNZ an AoE? But it was like, whatever, like nobody ended up really playing it. It's a slow
it's fine
speed
because it's
card.
bad, right? You can have bad cards that are off identity as long as they're bad.
And that was when they released Desert Duel too. It was Desert Duel.
Yeah, exactly.
That one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have a fast speed PNZ AoE in a meta where they printed this fucking fish BB card that just mass produces kegs.
Nice.
And it's just such a deadly combo. And lest we mention Karma.
Nice.
The
Karma's
thing that
great.
didn't get rotated, you know?
Sadly so.
Sadly
the most toxic thing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even with Samira present. Kind of
even with but the thing is that you said that you wouldn't really call like Samira toxic, right? Because Samira is pretty fair.
Yeah, Samira is just OP. The gameplay isn't toxic in my opinion.
It's such a good comparison to Akshan because everybody, it's the same people that say nerf Flock that think that you need to nerf Akshan. Because
exactly.
They're just like
you're just wrong.
Cards. You're just
We're
wrong,
allowed to have good cards. If a card is
and
busted,
this is called the FlockTalk. We don't nerf Flock here.
Exactly. If the card is like actually busted, which probably Samira is, or the card plays on an axis which is like just objectively bad or not healthy for the game, right? Timelines, what is it called? Timelines Dreadway Ladros combo was a thing.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that's just nobody wants to play against. That's yikes gameplay.
Yeah.
You can eat
because
those
I feel like Samira is just
Samira is good gameplay. She's just slightly too strong. Maybe more than slightly too strong, but.
But I think, do you think that she's strong on her own, or she just feels strong because of what like? It's the same thing as like Ezreal Kennen. I feel like certain things were just like the playcast change plus like Ezreal was like abusing Kennen's like. It's just like the environment that she's in might be making her OP. I'm not.
I feel like there's too many things. Same as Ezreal, there's too many things in a game, and it would limit design too much to nerf everything around her, right? Which is why like she works with Momentous and the damage spell, the harp, whatever that Varus has. She works with just a bunch of like warning shots and Bilgewater cards, which is what her intended package is. She works with just a good card overall. Like in Leona, you literally never flip her, but she generates Challenger and she's a good card. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So she just does way too much and way too many things. So.
I really like her though. I hope they don't change her. I think she's fine. I just think
the thing is,
cards around her.
You literally can't change the level up nor the rally because it's based on a letter system. A B B C S whatever from Devil May Cry.
Just cut a letter. Just make one letter.
It's based on. I guess if they're doing based on Devil May Cry, they added like SS and SSS. I think.
Okay.
For the combo meter, so I guess they could just make it 8.
Is it based on Devil May Cry?
As far as I know, yes. Somebody told me that.
It's an inspiration.
Sure.
It's an inspiration.
Yeah. As far as I know, yes. And a lot of like combo-based games have. Like, I don't even know what you call them. I think a lot of games have that sort of system.
Yeah.
I don't know where the original stems from. I'm not that.
Yeah, I'm not. Sure
I would consider myself a gamer, but like not that part.
Yeah. You consider yourself a gamer, but let it be known, people, that he has not played a console game.
I hate consoles.
None.
PC Master is.
No GameCube. Nothing.
No phone games.
So
nothing.
Shame him in the comments. Okay, he deserves
it. Shame all of me.
Shame.
Just make sure you know that if you're shaming me for that, who are you actually shaming? Are you just outing yourself?
projecting, you know?
True.
They just want to feel better than you, but in reality,
True. But in reality,
it's
PC is a master race for a reason.
nice, nice. Okay, and so to deal with all this Samira nonsense, we have the rise of PNZ. And
Yes.
basically it's what you were talking about earlier, right? Like a lot of the pings were removed from other
Yeah.
regions, and now PNZ is like your go-to efficient removal.
Yeah. And I feel like it's half that, it's half just led by the bullshit combos that they have, like both the
Mhm.
BB card. I don't know if the card is called
Yeah.
BB itself or is it just like
No,
a
what I
nickname.
heard, so I was wondering about that, but apparently BB is just like in the flavor text, like when you click it, you know
Oh,
how
okay,
like it
okay,
has like
okay.
the story. So people
Okay.
just started calling her BB.
Yeah. So
I think.
that and then the karma interaction with the new card that it
Yeah.
draws and generates coins is extremely broken because you double
Yeah.
coins. First you double the generation of the coins,
Yeah.
and then you double the mana from the coins. So you basically quadruple the mana from
Yeah.
the cards that it's supposed to
Mhm.
generate, which is
Mhm.
monka giga. So they like draw 4 cards and they get 10 mana back, and you're like,
The game
I
is
would like
over.
to concede.
Like it sucks because like even before the printing of these cards, you knew that once Karma hit turn 10, the game was over, and now it's like impossible. Like there's absolutely no way. If they have Karma on 10 and they have this card in hand, the game is over. Like
Exactly.
way more over than you thought. Yeah. And I don't know. And then the rise of those decks, then we now have an evolution into a progression into like beatdown decks, right?
The next step, yeah. You have to
The next
counter the counter of Samira.
counter the counter.
The
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is, these decks are also usually finding the Samira, and those are like the beatish down decks, right? Like the Masia
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think Lurk would fall into that category as well, right?
Mhm.
Stuff like
Mhm.
that, that just like, I play a bunch of big boys and we
Yeah,
go to town, you know? You apply
yeah.
constant pressure, so PNZ removal is too small to deal with it. Nobody's
Mhm.
actually allowed to play SI right now, so there's no
Yeah.
Ruination, Vengeance, or anything of the sort.
Or
You're
anything.
just
Yeah.
like
You
playing a
just
bunch of
hold.
big boys, they can't
Yeah.
answer it efficiently, you're just like, yeet!
Which is basically what Demacia always does, right? Like
Yeah,
summon things that are slightly too
yeah,
large at a
yeah.
slightly just perfect pace where you kind of
Exactly,
like
exactly.
get overwhelmed by it,
Yeah.
and then
Every single time it corrects the meta. Meta greedy, me come punish. Every single
me
time.
come me come punish. And then it's like a battle of like which Demacia is larger. It's
Yeah,
just like, well, I'm
yeah.
larger than you.
Exactly, exactly.
And then after that, we come to aggro. It's like, well, I'll just become very small, and then you
Yep.
can't.
You are too large, boy.
They're too
I am
large.
speed.
I am speed. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in the Demacia category, kind of in the beatdown you said as well, like Gwen Quinn, which
Yeah,
is
that's
like
one
an
of the top decks right
interesting,
now.
yeah,
I
which is
feel like
kind of
it's.
interesting. What
I
do you
tried
think?
the deck. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's too fragile, and it's more like
Yeah.
it's too like synergy based for a beatdown deck. You can't really like curve out properly. It's kind
Yeah.
of like Lurk if Lurk wasn't actually good.
Lurk.
I don't know. I don't know. Lurk goes
Yeah.
wide and tall. This one, it feels like it goes just tall because of all the ephemerals and stuff.
Yeah.
So you have like a problem like applying constant pressure.
Yeah. I feel like just what was the other Gwen? It was Red Gwen. Red Gwen.
Yes, Red
I
Gwen
feel like
was.
Red Gwen was way more consistent. Even though
Yes,
it's
because
still kind of
Red Gwen was a go wide deck that could go tall as well.
that could go tall,
Yes,
yes.
it was
Whereas
literally
this
like
one,
yeah.
it's like it's Demacia, but it's like not
Mm-hmm.
really. It's just there to get the scout for
Yeah,
Foyer, which is
it's too
like
fragile.
it's too, yeah. It's like if you don't draw the cards that you need, then you're not. It's a non-game. You're like not really
Yeah,
even
exactly.
playing the game. But when it does what it needs to, it's very very scary. But
Mm-hmm.
most people that play competitive, which is like we heard some people talk either on podcasts or on some streams and stuff, like if you're a competitive player, you more than likely don't want to play a deck like this. You don't want to
Yeah,
risk your entire like
yeah,
match or game based on like, am I going to draw the cards that I need? Is it
yeah.
just going to be
You
like,
literally
am
can't
I,
skill gap people with it. Like,
you can't, yeah, exactly, exactly. Was there anything? Oh, elites, basically. The
yeah,
typical Demacia, you know.
yeah.
Um and the elites are still like
There's
strong, I
there's
guess. Like
still
they're just like
people are kind of realizing now that Bannerman rotated, so elites are kind of falling out of favor because
yeah.
you used to be wide and tall, and now we're just wide and we can't go that large, right?
Wide happy. Yeah, yeah.
Because Bannerman was a development in width, but it also like buffed all your stuff, so it was like hog in
Oh,
both
you're
regards, right? And
yeah,
now people are
yeah.
like, I'm playing Mono Demacia, so I'm getting rewarded for nothing.
Nothing. But they were playing Mono Demacia was always kind of like the Draven. I mean Draven. Oh my god. Garen
Yeah,
Garen
yeah.
and Jarvan, right?
Yep,
Garen and
yep.
Jarvan, right?
Because both
Always.
of those have the elite tags, you're allowed to play those.
You're allowed, yeah. No,
And
Legion's everywhere, you know?
yeah, I feel like one of the top beatdown decks right now is like Aatrox Vayne.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right. That was like
yeah,
one that started coming back.
Aatrox scan is kind of bad, but that
I was
one
about to
exists as
say if
well.
that one came back.
It's present.
Yeah. And you were talking about how like Vayne is kind of good into these control decks because of like
Yes.
her ability to apply pressure on off turns.
Yes.
So
In general, Demacia or like rally decks are important
yeah.
versus anything slow because otherwise they just get a free turn to develop and do their own thing. They don't have to be worried about whatever you're doing, which is a saving grace for them. But you're playing Demacia, you're just like, I'm gonna tap out.
Okay, I'm going.
Have 4 mana. You're gonna tap out.
But a lot of people were saying that like even though it feels like it does good like on paper, that against a good player, Aatrox, it's kind of the problem that Aatrox has always had, that he's such like a big drop that against the card, what was the one, the recall, the 5 mana recall with flow that would
Yeah.
obliterate that one,
I don't
and now
remember.
the tag out card. You
Okay.
could tag, yeah. So it's like you lose like so much tempo from like having your Aatrox like bounced. You're like, okay, like what am I
No, that's
really
fair.
doing?
You usually don't
Right?
play for the Aatrox in this deck, which is why the Vayne version
The
is
vein,
good,
yeah.
because you're just playing small Demacia, right? Aatrox is there for other matchups. You're
Yeah,
playing with the Scout unit, with Vayne, with Valor, stuff like that, and you're just like going to town, right? Whereas the Kayn
yeah.
Aatrox version is more clunky, so it doesn't really do that well into these
Yeah,
big
yeah.
decks. Like you literally can't raise Karma, and when Karma reaches
Yeah.
town, you're dead.
No, tag out doesn't recall the opponent's
Yes, it does for
units.
5 mana.
Just does it?
Instead of 2 mana, you pay 5 mana, and then
Instead
it
of
recalls.
two?
It.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's what I was okay for 5. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the other one, the one that it was called like a soul something.
Soul Memory or
That it
something
will,
like that, yeah.
that I used to play, yeah, that a lot of people
Yeah, I
played,
remember,
it
the
would
flow one,
destroy the weapon as well.
yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
they
it would.
wouldn't just replay the Aatrox and get the weapon again, right?
I don't get that. Yeah, exactly. So thankfully, if that does work on paper, how it works, then like Vayne is a huge like
Yeah.
key part. And now with all this beatdown Demacia and all this stuff, what do we have coming to light? Give us your favorite deck. Give it to us.
We have 2 things. Ashe LeBlanc and then Aggro is trying but failing because Aggro is trash right now. The thing
Yeah,
is, Ashe LeBlanc is trash as well, in my opinion. I'm
Okay,
usually on the opposite side. People are like, Ashe is bad, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, you think that, but it's actually not, because there's a beatdown segment of the meta every single season. So just farm those, you know?
Yeah.
And you do, because they have freezes.
Yeah.
And you can be as big as you want when you have 0 attack.
Yeah.
And everything is frozen, and Ashe just wins.
And Ashe wins.
And yeah, Ashe is really good into that because you have a bunch of units that are like 5-1 and 5-2 and stuff, so they just trade with their 5-5, right? Like, I don't care that Garen has 5 as when he trades with the 2-drop, right?
Yeah. And you always like, when I tell you that this man always plays Ashe LeBlanc, like in every time, because like I told you guys, like I'm a deck builder. I like to make decks for him and stuff, and we like
and
we
you
love
help
to
a
like
lot
work
with lineups
together.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, like we have a meme where like we're coming up with lineups, we're like making decks, and he's always like, what if it's Ashe LeBlanc? And I'm like, baby, stop. And it's funny because like he'll take it and I don't wanna. And he'll do well with it because he plays the deck well and he knows like more or less like when it needs to be played and stuff. And it's so funny because like now it's literally number 1. If you go to Runeterra, are number 1 with like a 56% like win rate and everything. And everybody is screaming Ashe LeBlanc broken, Ashe LeBlanc OP, everything. And you just have him sitting here like, no, I don't think so.
Trash. It's garbage right now.
Trash. And
It's not
honestly,
garbage, but
I feel the same way because like I was somebody that like when I first started playing Ashe LeBlanc, I got converted. Okay, I didn't like the deck. And then obviously like being with him and like, you know, it rubbed off on me and now I love the deck. And I obviously have not played it as often as him, but I know enough to know that like into the meta that we're in, it doesn't feel like it would do well insofar as like a lot of people say that it beats Samira Fizz. And that I just do not understand.
yeah.
I don't.
It's really weird because people are like reckoning Pog because Samir players apparently don't have IQ or something and can't play around it. Like you can literally play around cards like that. It's a 6 mana slow spell. You can play around. If you're a good player, you can play around it. And they play it as a free off, so you just assume they have it every single game. You just make them have it, right? You make them represent it every single turn. Otherwise, you punish them. If they do represent it, you again punish them because you have more tempo.
No.
It's definitely favored for the Samira players. At least that one. The Leona one is like more debatable. I think even that one is favored for. I'm not sure how I feel about that one because historically Ash LeBlanc beats Leona, but
but
the
like
Fizz Samira variant definitely for sure.
Yeah. And you said like there's different because people are playing like Ash LeBlanc has gone through a lot of changes. Like Spirits Unleashed has gotten rotated. Yes. Like Whispered Words has gotten rotated and stuff.
Troll Chant.
Troll Chant. Oh my god, yeah. Like everything is getting rotated. And so like you said how the matchups that Ash LeBlanc has had before, they apply differently now. And there people are playing like the 3 mana 5/4 or something.
Yeah,
and
the
can't block or something.
Teferi Reckless
Reckoner or something. The
something.
Rico Rex card, okay?
Yes.
If you Rico, you Rex, okay? You cannot play this card if you want to Rico and Rex, okay?
True.
Yeah, so like people are playing that version, and you said that it was like easier to play now than ever, so you feel like the skill cap on Ash LeBlanc is much lower. So if you're playing against a good Samira Fizz player, like the deck should not be able to
it's
win,
mostly in the Fizz Samira players' hands to play properly. If both players play optimally, I feel like Samira is favored. An average player is debatable because the Fizz Samira player is going to like lose more percentage points because the deck is more difficult.
Okay.
Whereas the Ash LeBlanc player is going to do like just fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a lot of like the reason I think Ash is bad right now is people are saying it beats like the control decks, which historically I think it always did, because you can just stack it with rallies and stuff. Well, the problem right now is
and make it grind with Whispered Words.
Yeah, it always grinded really well because of Assessors and everything. But A, we lost Whispered Words, so we're worse at grinding. And B, the most important part, the control decks right now actually just kill you, right? Karma reaches turn 10, the game is literally, you can grind as much as you want. You can draw 20 cards in a turn, it doesn't matter, Karma wins. And the BB deck, well, they just smart you. So.
They just, Well, some people were saying, right, which I don't know if you agree with this, but like, would you consider Karma set a control deck? Or like Seraphine
probably
deck?
not,
like,
probably not. Because Karma Ezreal is definitely not a control deck. Right? Yes. The Seraphine deck, definitely not. It's definitely a combo deck. It's like combo control, probably. And I would have to take a look at the list and see the matchups and stuff, but I would just initially in my head call it combo control. And then I think the Karma deck is the same, because Karma Ezreal is a combo control deck, maybe even just a pure combo. I think the only Karma deck that ever existed that was control was like the SI Karma, because Go Hards and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Spoilers: if you stabilize and win through grind, you're a control deck. If you win through your combo, no matter the stabilization, then you're a combo deck. And then there's
how does that work for FTR then?
FTR wins through stabilization a lot of times. You can just land Trundle and win. You don't need to combo, right? FTR reaches a certain point where no matter what you play, I have bigger dudes and I can block forever and I can just grind through, right? Whereas something like I don't know, Lee Sin usually can't do that. They just have to finish the game and end you.
Okay.
Or like Karma Ezreal, right?
Catalog is like your
Catalog is the perfect controller because they literally don't have a win con. They just grind through your life and suffocate you.
Your life, your will to live, everything. If
their
you don't
win con is your will to live, exactly.
And let's not talk about Infinite Auction.
That's a combo of those. It is a pure combo deck, but it definitely wins through draining your life force.
That's for sure. Yeah. So through like now that we kind of like have a good like view of the meta, what do we do then? What is this course that we're going through? We're going, through the Samira, PNZ to counter that, beat down to counter that, can't even fucking play aggro, and then we have all these outlier decks to try and beat the beat. And where do we go from here? How do we break the meta? What do we do? Do you have any idea?
Yes, I feel like not usually, that's just how card games work, which is why it's important to have like the presence of all archetypes. There's a circle, right? A thing counters B thing, C thing counters B thing, and then A
Okay.
thing counters C thing, right? You just like circle around. So
Mhm.
right now you have Samira decks, which are the best ones. You
Okay.
have P and Z decks that counter those. You
Mhm.
have beat down Demacia that counters the P and Z decks. So logical next step would be to get the aggro decks to counter those, and then
Mhm.
Samira decks would counter the aggro decks, right? And you would just like make a circle.
You would just go in circle. Yeah.
But the problem right now is it feels like aggro is so bad that it can't finish the circle, so you can never loop back, and we're just stuck in this position. So you should try to beat two of the three archetypes right now, either like beat Samir and P and Z and try to just avoid the beatdown players, or be a beatdown player yourself and then try to be basically what you said, right? Be a bigger beatdown player, right? I beat the P and Z decks because I have a clock and I apply pressure, and I beat the mirrors by just being larger, right?
Would you consider, because I know like I've said this, I don't know how much you agree with it, but I had always said like as the game kind of has progressed that I feel like decks do more than like they're supposed to. Like they go out of their archetypes. Like it feels like almost every deck can be a combo control, like anything. Like they're too flexible. And so like an aggro deck nowadays isn't as simple as like me smork, me go face. Like that's all I can do. I run out of steam, right? Like pirates, like when I came out, you could just draw two, spawn a thing on the board. You had sermon. Like since when did aggro have a fucking removal card? Like what is going on? A
True.
6 mana removal card. Like what is this? And
Very nice.
so now we have things like, Cat Leona and Samira Leona. So Samira Leona, would you consider kind of like filling in the aggro role, even though it's kind of like tempo? Like,
I
is
would
that
just
our
I would
aggro deck?
It's weird. I think I would just call it mid range because of the speed at which it plays, and
Mhm.
it does have interaction, right? You can use fervors
Yeah.
for interaction, and Leona herself,
Mhm.
and stuns are kind of interaction, right? So I would put it probably in
Mhm.
the mid range category, even though it has like fast draws. It's definitely
Okay.
like the slowest out of the
Okay.
decks, I believe.
Do you feel like aggro, like the definition of aggro has changed? Like if we had to just
Well, it
move the
depends because
definition because of where the decks are?
yeah, because aggro has lost a lot of tools like decimate and stuff. So same as like a control definition for lore is vastly different than like control in other card games. Like
Okay.
lore control is much less control in like magic control. Magic control is
Yeah, yeah.
actually disgusting.
Oh, I've seen, yeah, magic control is
So we might need to change definition based
what
on
we have now.
the new format. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, right now aggro decks don't really have a spot because they are missing tools, right? And aggro deck still
Mhm.
has to close the game in a specific way and in a specific time.
Mhm.
And right now it just doesn't, which is why it like feels weird.
Yeah,
And
it's like
maybe
really
I would
awkward.
agree with you that that one is debatable. I
If we
think
had to,
that
like, right? Like if we had to pick something, like, I guess. But
yeah.
yeah, no,
Maybe I would
yeah.
say that the decks used to do too many things at some point, but I think it's like toned back down a lot by the
So, but
rotation
yeah.
itself.
The rotation, yeah. I think the rotation helped with that,
Yeah.
but like a lot, yeah.
So on to breaking the
So
meta.
so breaking the meta, I guess. Pick something on the circle and hope it works, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we have a very special spice thing, courtesy of Nips herself. It works really
Oh
well
no.
on ladder for me, and other
Okay.
people have been trying variants of it, and it works really well in the thing we talked about before.
Yeah.
It's
Which was an
Demacia.
idea? Demacia, which okay, we gotta just say the lore on that. So like
Um,
he knows I'm a deck builder. I love making like meme decks, making them potentially meta. I like trying to break the meta and do things like that with like I'm a hipster, okay? I'm a hipster deck builder,
True.
okay? And sometimes Boky likes to give me like little challenges. And he a long time ago was like Ash in Demacia. And it really stuck with me. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
going to make this work. And this season, I was like, wait a minute. Ash Demacia, unironically, might work because you have a lot of like these beatdown decks, like Demacia and stuff trying to pop up. But having the Demacia like core, but use Freljord in order to supplement the well, we're both Demacia, but your Demacia is Frostbite, so nice
Exactly.
0
Yeah.
attack unit, right? And you're
Yeah.
using things like Formidable and stuff, which also kind of counters Ash LeBlanc, but we've run into an issue where this deck can't really be Ash LeBlanc, so that would be something that you would have to
Yeah.
ban. But I ended up going with 2 Veins, 2 Ashes, 1 Jarvan, 1 Garen. And it really turns out that like a lot of the combos, like the fun combos with Ash, like Cataclysm, Veins attack, Veins tumble,
Probably.
even like single combat after you've frozen things, we put in as per one of your viewers, Seabass, if you guys know who Seabass is, suggested the Laurent duelists to give Ash challenger so you
Yep.
can like attack, freeze, and then kill it with a challenger. And it's just been a really fun deck. I've went on big win streaks, and so has Boky with it. And to tell us about the new variant that you came up with that you might use that has actually been working
Yeah.
pretty well for you.
So we cleaned it up a little bit with 3
Mhm.
champions instead of 4, removing the Garen initially,
Mhm.
and then added like more weapons to make it like slightly more like less versatile and more consistent, I guess I would
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
And the most important addition I think was, I've seen people do this
The
to counter
3 drop,
PNZ, like
right?
the elephant card 4-drop, 3-drop, like it's 3
Yeah.
mana, all 4 formidable, and it
Yeah.
doesn't take damage from spells and skills.
Yeah,
So
that's
PNZ decks are like,
yeah. What do
LOL!
I do with this?
Yeah, I played versus Caitlyn Annie
Caitlyn, Annie?
once.
Yeah, yeah.
I had 2 of those, and they literally nothing in the deck kills it, right?
Yeah.
They can't
And
damage it.
and they were trying to scorch it, and you kept like
Yeah,
re-equipping.
yeah, yeah, and I just equip it. It's full HP. Like, what are you doing? They try to disintegrate. I'm like, lol. And, like, you
Oh
see
my
them like
god.
put things on the stack and remove them. Like, I can't cast
Yeah.
spells,
Yeah.
and you just
Please
win.
let me do something.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's been pretty fun. I wonder if like maybe that deck can go somewhere, maybe do something. It seems
yeah,
like it's working pretty well. So we'll test it more, see how it goes. And with that, I guess we can go into finally talking about the open. Our first Runeterra Open, because up until now it's been seasonals for like 2 years. You said the game has been going, and I'm nervous. How do you feel? You're the competitive player. I just like to make decks. So how do you feel about
I'm not
what's gonna happen in
nervous.
2 days?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in 2 days. Oh, true.
Right.
We're doing the meme from true. I forgot. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like I feel less nervous than I usually do. I usually don't
Mhm.
feel nervous at all for the open rounds because it's like I've done so many at this point.
Okay.
I feel
Mhm.
like this one is even less impactful because they reduce the prize pool. It's kind of like feels less official because it doesn't have set times and stuff. Everything about it just like feels more casual,
Mhm.
which I kind of don't like. I like having like specific events. I basically like being stressed about the game. It makes me feel
Nice.
more alive, you know?
Nice. Well,
It doesn't
you're a league player, so
exactly. I'm used to the
it just makes
stress.
sense, you know?
Exactly. I like suffering.
That's why we're all damaged and stunned, okay? That's why it's called Flock
Exactly.
Talk, okay?
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
Well, I usually like, I mean, you already know, like I love to make fun decks and stuff, and so a lot of the times when I enter like the seasonals or even now this open, I usually want to enter with like some of my meme decks and stuff. It's mostly like for fun to see how my decks do and everything, but it feels like with the new system, it feels like more accessible. Like I don't even know. I don't
Yeah,
want to
for
say
sure. Yeah.
easier. Easier sounds like a
I
bad
mean,
word, but a lot of
easier to enter is technically more accessible. So yeah,
yeah, easier to
yeah.
win technically
Easier to
is
win as well. It's top 64 instead of
yeah,
top 32.
yeah.
So you know.
And so like a lot of the things like if you hadn't played a seasonals before, like you had day 1 which is like open rounds and then you had like the top cut.
Yep.
And now with this new open, the system is that day 1 is basically your open rounds and you have to win 9. It's not timed. So like before the seasonals used to be that you had to show up at a certain time, everybody would play their rounds at the same time. You had to wait the same amount of time in between. Everything was just everybody was on the same page. Except with this, now you can play it whenever you want. Like you could just show up. And a lot of people were complaining about this because like you said, like you could just wait, right? You could camp. You could get a bunch of all the good players
Exactly.
and make
Yeah.
sure that they don't play each other and all this sort of thing.
Yeah. You just play at a specific time when there's nobody else, and
There's nobody
you can even
else.
do
Like,
bad things, which we're not gonna mention now, so people don't do them.
yes,
We can talk about
yeah,
it after, but
yeah. Like, it's not nice. Okay, it's not.
nefarious lines have been opened by the new system.
Yeah, I think we don't know. This is the first time they said that they were going to still even like the MMR, right? That in the Runeterra, the other Runeterra Open that they did for during beta, that people were just getting matched against like very, very low ranked players, and it was just kind of like a stomp. Like
Yeah,
it
and
didn't feel like
you
an
rank
actual.
you queue into the same player like 3 times, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like,
And
what?
and a lot of that has to do with like the fact that you can play at any time, right? Instead
Yeah,
of just
exactly.
like
There's no one else,
being.
so they have to match you with the person again, right?
Yeah. And apparently now day one is closed deckless.
I mean, it's good for people who want to like do surprise
Make decks
memes, I
like me.
guess. Make decks like you. Yep, you can hide what you're actually doing. Like just play
what is
champions.
Ash, Demacia, Vayne, Jarvan, Garen? What is
Yeah, people
this?
are like,
What am
what is happening? I have no
Yeah.
idea what's about to happen. Let's queue and just let's rumble, you know?
Let's rumble, yeah. So that's one thing. I'm not a huge fan of closed deck lists if you're gonna be
Yeah.
doing a competitive tournament. It feels kind of bad. Also this is the first time I guess that we'll be able to use the what is it called? The Prime Glories.
Yes.
I don't know if you ended up getting any.
Nope. I'm too lazy
Nope.
to actually play rumbles every day, so I don't have
Yeah,
one.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Like you have to show up every time, get those like 6 like wins, make the deck, like go
Yeah.
through it, and it's every single day. And you did the math, right? Like you technically would have to play every single day from the beginning and get
Yeah,
10
that was
wins or
at some
something.
point. Like with me missing like 2 or 3, yes. At that point, I would have to like play all of them and win all of them, and even then, it was like shaky whether I would make it. So
Yeah.
I was just
But
like,
that I never understood because if you did that, right? By the time you got to the open, well, technically, if you got to the open, then you would only have one prime glory,
yes,
right?
you can never, as far as I know, you can never have 2 prime glories for the first open because we're gonna share
Okay.
the same prime glories for all the opens. For the second one, you can presumably have 2. I didn't check that part, and then for the third one, you can obviously have 2.
Up to. And the one that matters is the second one, right?
The second one is.
Which is the one that counts for like worlds points
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that.
Yeah, the counts the most. All of them count, but that one is like
No, but
more
that one
points.
automatically. That one is the one that
Yeah, the
automatically
winner is
qualifies.
automatically qualifies. Yes, and the points are worth more. Like you get more
Okay,
points.
yeah. And then day 2, the people that make it to day 2 are everybody that has 9 wins.
9 wins. I think 9-0, 9-1, and then some 9-2s, if not most of them.
Yeah.
I think is how it works. It's top 64 players based on that. And then tiebreakers are weird, right? It's like who you played and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Do we know if day 2 is also just not at the same time? Like you could just play whenever? Do we know that?
It should be. It should be at the same time. It should be like
So that
normal,
one
like
is
standard.
like the normal one.
Like old format. It should be, yeah.
Okay.
I
and
believe.
open deck lists, I think they also
Yeah,
said
probably. It should be exactly the same how it used to be, except it's 64.
Yeah. And they said also that this time it's only going to be 1K for the winner then.
I don't remember if it's exactly 1K, but the prize pools are
It's
smaller.
around there. It's definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not. Before it was like what 10K or something.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's like 2K or something, and then the second one is like 6, and then it's like 2. Overall, it's like less. When you combine all 3, it's like less or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, specifically like these 2 ones, they're like smaller ones, are like.
Okay.
And only like.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, it's like only top 16 get money or something instead of top 32, which was used to. Like if you top 64 right now, you have to win 2 more games to get anything. So.
But it's I feel like.
But it's Pog. You get to be top 64. You know. You get to be mom, get the camera.
Mom, get the camera. Yeah, but I feel like it's nice in a way that's like. I don't know. Like you could find pros and cons of both, but like having like for example, like there was a lot of glory in being like, oh, like I was like a seasonal like top cutter. I was like I'm a seasonal winner and like everything.
Exactly.
Like there was a lot of like there were so few.
Yeah.
The prize was so large. Like the stakes, like the people who you are playing against, everything. And now it's like saying that you're an open winner. Like there's so many of them. The prize is smaller. It doesn't feel like there's as much like.
There's
but also
definitely less weight to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the fact that there's more means that like if you wanted to maybe play competitively, you have more chances of winning.
Yeah.
So maybe that's better.
It's
I
definitely
don't
like
know.
less spiky, more like flattened out. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see how it goes. We're still kind of like testing the first season, so. But with that said, what are your predictions for the lineups that we're gonna see? What are we gonna see?
Lineups? Well, I predict for the people who top cut, there's gonna be 64 Samira decks. If that doesn't happen, I have no idea what people are doing.
I mean, if you're not playing Samira, you're not playing at all.
You're trolling. You're literally trolling. And I think no matter which lineup you're going for, unless like a very specific niche cases, if you're like a god tier deck builder, lineup builder, maybe you can get away with not doing that, but otherwise...
Are you doubting me?
No, I'm saying, well, you're probably not going to play Samira, so you are included in those people, yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Exactly.
Good save.
There you go.
Okay.
But in general, if you're like a mortal human,
Yeah.
like me, then you should just play Samira.
Play Samira.
It's basically like, it's usually going to be a free ban,
like
or it's just like a free win, or
right?
whatever.
Like
It's your third deck, yeah,
just
basically.
like toss it in.
Well, if you think about it logically, it's your first deck, and then you just build a lineup of 2, but...
And you've... Perspective, okay? Perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what type of lineups do you think we'll see then?
Well, basically what we talked about in the meta, I feel like table control, if it's possible. Yeah. Like control being like PNZ stuff, if we call it like Karma like and Seraphine, like control, stuff like that, yeah. Like PNZ stuffs. Like beatdown, like triple Demacia or something, like with Aatrox, or I don't know, Vayne stuff, or whatever. Triple big boys.
Okay.
And then there's gonna be people who are just there to have fun, because there's no entry levels, so...
Stop now. Okay? Those are my people.
I didn't mean it like that, people. Okay? Yeah, but you're the leader of your people, okay? You're gonna have the most fun.
Okay, exactly. We're the ones who win, okay?
That
you guys might win the money, but we win truly, okay?
You win. Yes.
Money doesn't
whatever helps you sleep at night, we can go with that one, yes.
All right. Okay, so I guess the question is, what are you taking? What's your lineup right now? If you had to go to
right now,
what's your lineup?
Probably gonna take the variant of your deck, the Ash Masia or something to it, like the Masia Freljord, essentially. I'm gonna play, I think, the Varus version of Samira, because that one beats the other Samira decks, I believe. It's gonna be either that one or the Fizz one. I don't like playing the Leona one, even though I think it might be the strongest one overall.
Because you were playing it a lot on stream, and you said that you might take it for a bit, so...
Yeah. And then third deck, I don't want to play Ash LeBlanc. I don't think it fits. I don't think it's good.
No.
Yeah, it's very, very rare occasion where I decide not to do that. I don't know,
but
like...
if you played the... Because you said that you were considering, like, if you played your version of my Ash deck, that if you thought about maybe taking out Ash and going with like a different route, maybe you could
put Ash in. Yes, maybe, yes. If you could tack it properly to do the things you wanted to do, maybe, but I think it's not gonna be optimal. Okay. I feel like people with Ash LeBlanc are not gonna be performing too well in seasons. I think it's like the opposite of Samira. Samira has high expectations, and it's gonna perform even better. It's gonna outperform the expectations, which is really hard because it has a lot of expectations, very high. And Ash LeBlanc is gonna do the opposite. People expect it to be decent or good, and it's gonna be abysmal, I think.
Well, it's gonna be interesting because, like, I feel like a lot of people, when they go to like these tournaments, if you're not like super like competitive, you keep up with what people are saying, like streams, podcasts, etc., you might just open up Runeterra AR and be like, I mean, it's 56%.
It's a top deck, you know?
It's at the top. So maybe, like, I know what you were talking about, your predictions, like talking about like top 64, maybe in open rounds that people might just like, well, let's just bring Ash LeBlanc, right? Because,
exactly.
Like, you know, it's like,
and those people are gonna go
like
too.
Things like... Okay, you don't have to flame everybody. We don't play Ash LeBlanc here, I guess, you know?
True, nobody.
The Ash LeBlanc player says don't play Ash LeBlanc, okay?
True. You heard it
if there's anyone you should trust, it's him, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So what are you gonna bring?
No. I was hoping you would just forget. I mean,
I never forget. My memory is insanely good.
Well, one of us has to, because we have goldfish on this side of the panel, so... So I might just take my Ash list, and then I don't know. I haven't really like theory crafted anything else other than I might try the Samira Riven if I find a cool list that I want to make for it. But
no
it's probably
Vagos.
What?
No Vagos.
Viego? Yeah, that was where I was getting. I was like, if I can make my queen, I made a Viego Seraphine deck. So
I remember.
Yeah, you know.
have two queens.
Yeah. The deck is called Sarah Queen. Get it? Sarah Queen?
Well, not everybody calls Viego Queen, so a lot of people won't get it.
But Viego says, my queen. So, you know, I'm hoping that they can put 2 and 2 together. Our viewers are smart, okay? Are you looking down on our viewers?
Yes, they are.
Yes?
Yes.
So I don't know. I might just mess around with those and see what happens.
Okay.
We're both living in Serbia right now, but my account is still in NA because I moved from America here. So when I play like anything that's like the seasonals or opens or whatever, like it has to be like the time difference is really bad. And so
Yeah.
my seasonals usually start like at 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah. But
like the
now it's
time here.
flexible, so you can play it
So
whenever.
maybe, yeah, maybe it'll be better. Yeah. So, all
Okay.
right. That's all we have to cover today.
We
That's
did
it.
it?
We did it.
First
We did
episode
our
done?
first episode done.
Hog
Yay.
you.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you think? How do you feel?
I feel I'm tired.
You
A lot
feel?
of talking.
You're tired?
I
Yeah,
know you're
no,
used to talking a lot, but
yeah.
here on this side, it
If you're
hurts,
from my YouTube channel, all my videos are like an hour long.
Yeah.
So I am pretty much used to talking, but
Okay.
yeah, thank you
Okay.
for having me
So,
on.
of
Thank
course,
you
all
for
the shoutouts. You have to
yes.
plug your social media and
Yes.
YouTubies and stuff.
Yeah, you can check out my YouTube at Art by Nips. I just do a lot of art content there, so if that's up your alley, not just lore, then go check me out. I post a lot on Twitter, mostly art. I have a personal account at Onips, which is where I usually post my lore stuff. Um, and of course, you share your stuff. Tell us a little bit about where we can find you,
You
where they
can
can
find
keep up.
me. Well, you're already here, so you don't have to find me.
Exactly.
My Twitter
To
and
like,
stuff.
subscribe. You have to tell them to like and
You have to
subscribe.
like and subscribe
Exactly.
makes
Yes.
sense. Twitter,
Yes.
Twitch, everything is CockyBoky. So
Yeah.
yes.
And
Tell us what
let us know,
you
guys.
yes. Tell us what you think about the episode, so we can further
Make
evolve.
yeah.
I know this is like insanely good content already, but like we would like to
Of
improve it a little bit.
course. You know,
The
always
little bit
evolving.
we're missing.
Always,
Of
yes.
course,
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to.
And let us know, yeah. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments. We can keep this going. Right now, we just basically made one episode, not knowing if we're going to keep it going. But if you do like the content, let us know. And yeah, check us out. And good luck. Have fun to everybody entering the tournament. Let us know
But
how you
most
did as
importantly,
well.
don't lose.
Don't lose.
That is the saying.
Exactly. Yes. Most importantly, don't lose. Yes.
Exactly.
And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.